A unit of elite clone commandos within the Grand Army of the Republic, the Bad Batch were unique in the way that they were designed with genetic mutations. These granted them specialized abilities far beyond that of standard clones or even other commando squads. Unlike their brothers, the commandos of Clone Force 99 were seen as defective units, but their mutations made them a uniquely special squad. Named in honor of the clone Janitor 99, this is every single Bad Batch member explained. Hunter. The squad's leader, granted with heightened senses, Hunter is one of the most driven and caring members of the squad. Hunter is able to detect electromagnetic signals across entire planets, allowing him to track enemies and sense environmental shifts with absolute precision. Calm, tactical, and compassionate, Hunter became a reluctant and de facto father figure of the squad, particularly to members Wrecker and later Omega. Even in the face of intense combat and grueling battle, Hunter's moral compass was always directed at protecting who he saw as a family. Hunter is an exceptional tactician, responsible for creating some of the various unconventional squad tactics used on the battlefield. He was highly skilled in close quarters combat and knife fighting, while also being a competent pilot alongside tech. The equipment used by Hunter were his preferred set of DC-17 blaster pistols, a vibro knife, a DC-17M blaster carbine, and his customized Katarn-class commando armor. Hunter serves as the moral compass of Clone Force 99, weaving all other squad members' unique skills and personalities to make them the best versions of themselves. It was thanks to this moral compass that Saw Gerrera and Caleb Doom, otherwise known as Kanan Jarrus, were still alive during the time of the Galactic Civil War, as Order 66 was called when helping the young Jedi defeat a separatist force on Collar, and the squad was sent to eliminate Gerrera and his unit on Onderon. This video is sponsored by Saber Council. They just launched their Halloween BOGO sale, and it's a scary good deal. If you spend $100, you'll get a free Saber necklace, and if you spend $200, you'll get a free RGB Dueling Saber added to your order automatically. Whether you're looking to complete your Halloween look or just want to add another Saber to your collection, now's the perfect time to do it. They also recently dropped cosplay robes, which make the perfect costume. This sale only runs through Halloween, so don't wait. Hit the link in the description and treat yourself. No tricks needed. Big thanks to Saber Council for supporting the channel. Now, let's get back to the video. Wrecker. The squad's muscle and heavy weapons specialist, Wrecker is the physically largest clone in the Republic's Grand Army. Only, his massive strength came at the cost of some intelligence points. Wrecker has enhanced strength and durability, able to lift an entire LAAT gunship, which weighs in at an astonishing 60 tons. This loud, boisterous, and almost childlike tank finds his thrill when it comes to his favorite pastime, blowing things up. Perhaps even more so than Hunter, Wrecker is perhaps the most caring of his brothers, treating Omega more like a sister than a daughter, and always stepping up to protect his siblings regardless of the danger it puts himself in. Despite having a fear of heights, Wrecker is most skilled at hand-to-hand combat, capable of tossing around battle droids, tearing open ship doors, and moving heavy debris by himself. One of his most notable feats is going toe-to-toe with a baby Rancor in single combat with no weapons, something that would leave pretty well anyone else lying beneath a tombstone. Wrecker loves his ordnance more than anything else, but when he's not tinkering with proton bombs, his preferred arsenal includes the classic DC-17M blaster carbine or his two fists, along with his custom clone commando armor modified to withstand heavy combat. Of all his brothers, it was Wrecker's inhibitor chip that was least corrupted by his genetic modifications, perhaps due to his childlike nature. Wrecker is deeply protective of his squad members and is often the emotional heart of the team despite being such a brute force soldier. Crosshair. The squad marksman and master sniper, Crosshair is one of the best sharpshooters in the entire clone army. With his mutation granting him exceptional eyesight and hand-eye coordination, Crosshair was engineered for precision sharpshooting. Often quiet, cold, and blunt, Crosshair is the most disciplined of the Bad Batch, loyal to the command structure of the army more so than his brothers. This was something that caused a rift in the squad after the administration of Order 66 across the Grand Army of the Republic, causing Crosshair to follow the transition to the Empire while his squad defected and ran from the corrupt government. Crosshair always found that strength came from following orders regardless of whether they're morally correct or not, something he gained a new perspective on while serving alongside Clone Commander Mayday. Crosshair's skills as an elite marksman allows him to ricochet blaster bolts with uncanny ability, something he does on multiple occasions as some sort of signature move. Aside from Hunter, Crosshair is an adept strategist, particularly when it comes to Overwatch and ambush tactics, something he displays quite well as the commanding officer of an elite squad in the Empire. The equipment used by Crosshair were his signature 7.73 Fire Punch sniper rifle, DC-17 blaster pistol, specialized armor optimized for movement and accuracy, and of course, he couldn't go anywhere without his toothpick. Unfortunately, thanks to his ethos on order and command, Crosshair sided with the Empire after the initial events of Order 66, serving in an elite strike team for a time. With this squad, he would pursue his old siblings under the command of Admiral Rampart before becoming a prisoner after eliminating a clone-phobic lieutenant. Later, Crosshair finds his way back to the squad, who was initially hesitant to accept him, but thanks to Omega, Crosshair finds his place with his brothers and sister again. Coping with the loss of his hand in a confrontation with the Empire, the top marksman joined the other surviving Bad Batch members in retirement on the island of Pabu. Tech. Tech is the quirky tech specialist and analyst of the Bad Batch. His mutation included heightened intellect and advanced cognitive processing, along with a near-perfect memory and quick calculations resulting in rapid problem solving. This tended to put him at odds with others in his squad, with his intellect being drastically above that of Wrecker, and his advanced cognition being unable to process many emotions or even empathy. Often, when we see Tech, he speaks in a fairly robotic tone, despite the most robotic member of the crew being Echo. This tone carries through whether Tech is happy, upset, or even distressed. Tech is logical, factual, and emotionally detached, preferring to dive into vast datasets and act on probabilities and reason over instinct. Despite sometimes being socially oblivious, Tech's loyalty to his brothers is unquestioned, and he would always go to any length to protect his squad. And that he did, giving his life to save Wrecker, Hunter, Echo, and Omega on Eridu. Using his skills in engineering, slicing, description, linguistics, and starship mechanics, Tech was an integral member of the Bad Batch. And if those skills weren't enough to solidify his place in the squad, he was also Clone Force 99's pilot. Tech used a pair of DC-17 blaster pistols as his primary weapon of choice. He was also equipped with custom datapads, scanners, and slicing tools, some of which were integrated into his armor, like his specialized goggles. Though he was less outwardly affectionate in comparison to the rest of the squad, the loss of Tech was possibly the most impactful and devastating event the squad ever faced. Echo. Echo was the Bad Batch's chief strategist, thanks to his extensive training and role as an ARC trooper within the 501st. Echo had been well integrated in the Clone Wars even while members of the Bad Batch were still in training. He was even present for the death of the Clone 99, the soldier whose name became the identification of the Bad Batch. While Echo wasn't genetically mutated like the others, he had his uses through the cybernetic implants he received on Skako Minor, the home of the Techno Union. Echo had always been a by-the-book clone, often following orders verbatim and without question, hence his nickname, Echo. He's always been loyal, cautious, and methodical, often being the bridge between Hunter's instincts and Tech's logic. His skills as an expert slicer, thanks to his scomp arm, mean that the Bad Batch don't need to bring a droid or terminal spikes on critical missions that require information gathering. Combine that with the combat training and experience of a veteran ARC trooper, and you'll find that Echo is one of the most capable soldiers within the Bad Batch. Originally training as a member of Domino Squad on Kamino, Echo would serve in the 501st for a time before being promoted to the rank of ARC Trooper by Commander Cody alongside his brother Fives. Unfortunately, at a deployment to rescue Jedi Master Evan Peel and then Captain Tarkin from the Citadel, Echo was severely injured and presumed dead by the Republic. He was later recovered by the Separatists and taken by the Techno Union, being turned into a cyborg. Rescued by Captain Rex, Anakin Skywalker, and the Bad Batch above the planet Anaxis, upon returning to the surface, Echo would choose to join the Bad Batch, rather than retaking his position in the 501st. After some time post-Order 66, Echo joined Rex to help him build a clone rebellion and gather sympathizers for clones across the galaxy. Omega. Initially just the squad's little one, Omega is a child clone and the moral center of Clone Force 99. This seemingly unaltered clone of Jango Fett, aside from her being made female, did not age rapidly like standard clones. On Kamino, Omega worked as a medical assistant under Nala Se. It was through this role that she came to know her brothers, as they were all in their growth chambers or in training while Omega was walking around on Kamino. Omega has always been optimistic, curious, and above all, compassionate. Despite being naive, Omega was always determined, insisting on joining the squad on missions regardless of Hunter's protective instincts. Each member of the squad had their own role in raising Omega. She saw Hunter as her kind of father figure, Tech as a mentor, Wrecker as a big brother, Echo as a sort of guide, and even shows care to Crosshair despite his betrayal. Omega shows skill with energy bows in particular, and learned tactical awareness from her brothers, especially Echo and Hunter. Omega is a naturally empathetic individual and was a huge impact on her squad's morality. It's even possible that Omega is a Force-sensitive individual, having a midichlorian count of great interest to the Empire's science division, and thus Emperor Palpatine himself, similar to the way that Grogu from The Mandalorian is sought after by the Empire as well. During the time of the Galactic Civil War, Omega leaves the island of Pabu to join the growing Rebel Alliance. But that does it for every member of Clone Force 99. Which is your favorite? Let us know in the comments.